Do you know which album was the first to sell more than 3 million copies in the UK? And do you know why David Knopfler painted his gold 1962 Stratocaster black? On November 15th, 1987, Dire Straits became the first band ever to sell more than 3 million copies of an album in the United Kingdom. You heard that right. We could say that Brothers in Arms wasn't a success. It was a full-blown epidemic. It was everywhere, in bars, in cars, in restaurants, in your uncle's living room, in your neighbor's Walkman, and most likely floating in the very air you were breathing. It was the perfect album to christen the CD format, the perfect excuse to say, see, it sounds better. But behind that colossal success, there was a very loud absence. David Knopfler, co-founder, rhythm guitarist, and half of the harmonic brain behind the early Dire Straits. Most people didn't even notice, but you and I did, because the real Dire Straits were two brothers, until they weren't. The story is simple and sad. During the recording of the band's third album, egos collided, wires got crossed, the tension became unbearable, and Mark, yes, the one with the tennis headband, erased almost all of David's guitar parts to re-record them with another musician. David did what anyone does when they feel erased. He packed his things and vanished. From that moment on, they never spoke again. Not a coffee, not a phone call, not even a, hey, congrats on the Grammy, nothing. And here's the fun and geeky part, because at the Rock Museum Barcelona, we have an object that sums up that whole fraternal soap opera. David Knopfler's 1962 Fender Stratocaster, a guitar that today is black, but was originally gold. Why the change? Because on stage, it looked terrible next to Mark Knopfler's red Strat. Red plus gold equals Village Fair. Solution: chromatic inversion. David paints his guitar black, Mark keeps the red one, and everyone's happy for a while. That guitar is the instrument David used to record the band's first two albums. Those clean, precise rhythm parts that made Mark shine. He kept using it for decades afterward, even on film soundtracks. It's an instrument full of scars, history, and a silence as long as a solo in Telegraph Road. So, yes, Brothers in Arms was a historic triumph. A chart-topping record, and a masterclass in how to sound elegant without breaking a sweat. But it's also the most ironic title in rock history. Because when the ultimate success arrived, the brothers were no longer brothers, and definitely not in arms.